Basically, your class. This is on a Thursday. Your um, class is going on a field trip to a national forest, which is a big forest with like ranger stations and animal wildlife clinics and
Mm,
parks and all kinds of cool stuff. Um,
yeah.
and you instead of going for some reason instead of going on the bus with the other kids, your mom decided, what, she's gonna be a chaperone and she's gonna take you. So you get your
Alright.
yeah, you're riding in the car towards the ranger station on this narrow road through the forest. There's forest surrounding you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just looking out the window and you see a blue deer just bouncing through the forest, disappears behind some trees and some bushes. So your mom doesn't seem to notice but you do, and she's just driving along, probably talking about something, I don't know, boring that you don't care about, eh, like one of her old TV shows or something. Um, so yeah, she looks over and she says, "Are you even listening to me, Layla?
Huh? Was I supposed to be listening?
You just be daydreaming all the time, Layla. I'm just trying to talk to you about my day the other day, and I'm a chaperone, taking you on this field trip. You should pay me some respect."
Ah, jeez, I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to make you feel disrespected.
That's okay.
What were you talking about?
And then she'll continue talking about nothing. So you don't bring up the blue deer that you saw running.
No, I just completely just like,
You're
that's
just like,
not real.
I'm hallucinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and then finally, after like several hours of driving through these woods, you do finally get to a a pretty large building. Um, it's 2 stories high, and it looks like it's mostly made out of wood, but it's not really. It's made out of like concrete and normal stuff, but it's because it's in the woods. There's a lot of like there's a wood motif basically. So and then she pulls up there, but strangely enough, there's nobody around. Like you see one forest ranger's pickup truck, but it seems to be parked, and you don't really see anybody around it, and you don't see anyone around the building. Normally, you would have been told this in school before you came out here, but normally a ranger station has anywhere from a dozen to 100 rangers, park rangers or forest rangers attending it. So not seeing anyone outside or coming to greet you guys, it's kind of weird. And she pulls up in parks and she's like, I wonder where everyone is. They're supposed to get here before we were. That's weird.
Probably inside, Mom. Why would they be outside the station right now?
I don't know. I figured they want to. I mean, look at this nature. I figured they'd want to come out here and look around and just.
Would want to experience all this crap. I mean, there's just trees and bushes. There's nothing interesting out here.
There's animals out, and then she started to get out of the car, and she just like gestures around and says, "Yeah, look," and you see like a bunny hopping behind a tree. She's like, "Look at that bunny."
That's a pretty cute bunny, Mom. Layla gets out of the car and vaguely slams the door a little.
Oh, okay. She's probably gonna just pretend like she doesn't notice, and she's gonna head over towards this building. And now, along this like right next to the building, there is another building which is slightly smaller, and it's connected by like a connection, like a corridor or hallway. But that the other building says Wildlife Hospital. Um, and she's like, "Well, let's go into the ranger station first and make contact with the rangers and your fellow students before we head over and look at the animals in the animal clinic." So she heads up these steps towards the front door. Let's see. Just looking through my notes.
You follow behind.
Okay. Um, are you looking around as you're walking, or are you just following her face in your
Mostly
phone?
just keeping my face to the ground, like
Okay, so not
kicking
really
my
looking
feet.
around.
And no.
Okay. All right. So as you finally get to inside, you do notice there are two forest rangers, both men, probably in their mid to late 30s, but they're talking over in a corner of the inside of the lobby. They don't seem to have noticed you until your mom says, "Hey there, where is everybody? I definitely thought they'd get here first. We left a little later." And they look like they've been caught doing something wrong. They're like, I'm sorry, um, you're with and they kind of look back and forth like they're trying to remember the name of the school. And they're like, oh yeah, you're with the field trip. Got it. Okay, you must be the chaperone. And then they look to you and they're like, hello. And one of them, um, I'll say the older looking guy, he's like, hello, um, I am Ranger Johnson, and I am one of the senior rangers at this station. And This is Ranger Black here, and he gestures to a slightly younger guy, and he says he'll be giving you a tour if you would like to go with him. I have some business to attend to. And then he just kind of she shakes Martha's hand and she nods and says, "Thank you, sir." And then he nods back and he says, "Yeah, the rest of the Rangers are out. Um, there was we got word that there was some sort of animal rescue that needed happening, injured bear or something. So they're out there looking for that. But they should be back in a couple hours." And then he kind of just walks away after he says that. And she says, "All right." And then Martha turns back to you and says, "All right, so I guess we're going on this tour." Um, and
Right?
Ranger Black says, "Ah, your name is Layla. Is that right?"
Yeah, it's Layla.
Okay. I had a childhood friend named Layla, so that's a very beautiful name. And he kind of gestures, and as he's talking to you, he's also walking, leading you through the ranger station. Um, and
She
then,
glances around the station as she walks.
okay, you don't notice anything specifically out of the ordinary. The thing that you do notice that is slightly out of the ordinary is this ranger that you're with. Um, he seems more nervous than he should be, and as he's walking, he's in front of you, so he pulls out his phone, and you can see on it that there's a text from some other ranger. All it says is um, the uh, the other kids have been taken care of, and then he just clicks off it and puts it back in his pocket, his phone back in his pocket. He says, "All right, there's this cool basement we got over here. It's got all kinds of animals down there that you can look at if you just want to come my way." And of course, your mom is just complete. She didn't notice any of that, and she's like, "Oh, you got animals in the basement. That seems cool." And then and he says, "Yes, just come down this way and into this dark basement. Let me. Oh, the light switch isn't working. Oh well.
I don't know. I don't really want to come down here without my mom. Actually,
I'll go with you,"
I
she
think my
says.
mom would love to see the. All right.
"Yeah, I'll go with it. Everything will be fine." He pulls out a flashlight and says, and as he's pointing the flashlight down the steps, like you can tell that this is not a place you would keep animals. He's definitely luring you guys down there for some reason. But do you
Well, when
continue
are you
ahead?
gonna show me the first animal? I'm really excited. I want to see the animals.
Oh yeah, there's some animals down here, definitely. Well, I'll take you down here into this deep cellar, and everything will be fine. And then we'll come back up and look at more animals. How about that?" says Ranger Black. And your mom doesn't seem to think anything's wrong with it. She's like, "Yeah, that'll be fine."
All right, all right. Let's. Why don't you show an animal now though? Because we're really excited for the animals that are What kind of animals do you have?
Um, well, we have, and he gets nervous again, and he thinks for a second. He's like, rabbits, and he just starts naming random animals. Yeah, we have. There's
You
some.
have a giraffe in here.
I mean, we might have a
That
giraffe.
seems
Let's go down there and look. And he just walks down there, and your mom goes right behind him. Like she doesn't even question it. She doesn't, she she actually it seems very eager to go with him, and she kind of looks back to you and is like, "Come on, Layla, it'll be fine."
owns, but continues onward with her mom and the guy
Okay. So as you
by Fraser
descend,
Johnson.
the stairs, you hear well, first of all, you see behind you because there's light coming from above the steps. The light is slowly disappears as the door clicks and locks behind you. Um, and the only person you can see in front of you is your mom because at the bottom of the stairs, Forest Ranger Black has turned off his flashlight and you no longer see him in the darkness. And she says, "Come on, Layla."
You follow your mom to the bottom of the basement stairs.
Okay. So you go down to the bottom of the stairs. She's there. She walks around. Of course, this is basically just a boiler room and maybe some storage. That you know, there's no animals down here. The only animal that you can slightly hear is like maybe some mice or something that are scurrying around. Um, and then you notice out of the corner of your eye as you get down there and you're looking around, you're probably trying to find the guy who suddenly disappeared into the darkness. You see your mom's eyes glint and gleam blue for just a second, like like the corner of her eye sparkles blue for a moment, but then it's back to normal, and she's just looking around, smiling like everything's normal. She says, "Yeah, this is interesting," and she kind of looks around.
Thing about this, mom, there's no animals here.
We haven't checked the whole basement. Come on, let's go. And she like walks away into the darkness, almost out of sight. Do you follow her?
You pull out your cell phone that you had on you earlier and turn on the light on your phone to see what room that you're currently in.
Okay, why are you saying you? It's you're the character, not me.
I pull out the
Yeah,
phone that
okay.
was mentioned earlier and turn
Yeah.
on the light.
So you turn it on, um, and you see your mom like just her back as she like walks around a corner and disappears. But to your right, you see a big this which looks really out of place. You see two things. Like past the boiler, past some storage, and up against the wall, you see what looks to be a big rock, and then behind it on the wall is what looks to be like a vault door with like complete with like the circle, the round thing that you turn to open the vault door. And the vault door, even though the rock is in front of it, the vault door appears to be open like 2 inches. Um, but you don't see anything else with your light. You don't see because your mom has just walked around a corner, so you don't see her, and you don't see Forest Ranger Black who has disappeared.
All right, I decide to check out the vault.
Okay. You walk over to the vault, you shine your light, and all you hear, well, first, what you see is you just see that it looks to be some sort of tunnel that has been dug underground. It doesn't seem to, um, it seems like it was just digged and or dug, and then someone put a vault there. There doesn't it does it's not like a room or anything. It just seems like a underground tunnel, like a mine tunnel or something. Um, and you can see um, first you hear kind of like guttural growls, like "Ugh."
Something was
Okay.
growling in a
So
vault.
yeah. So you heard that, and then as you look through the crack, you could see like five. You could see like half a dozen pairs of like eyeballs staring back at you, like they're not glowing, but because you have a phone pointed at them, it looks like they're kind of glowing in the dark. Um,
Yeah.
they don't move towards you. What do you do?
You quickly leave the vault, acting like you didn't see what you just saw, and return to your mom's side.
Okay. As you walk around the corner, you saw her leave. Um, all you see when you get like straight up like horror movie image. You walk around the corner and she's just standing facing the corner, not moving, like 15 feet away from you.
Mom, is everything okay? I go to approach her,
Okay,
reaching out to touch her
right.
arm.
And right before you do, you hear what feel, or you actually feel it and you hear it, but it feels like a earthquake above you. Just a lot of the building is just shaking. You hear a lot of crashing, something breaking upstairs, um, and then the door that you came in, up the stairs, you see it. It doesn't fly off its hinges, but like the top half of it just breaks, so it kind of bends forward and shines some light in. Um,
Immediately crouch down behind your mother. I immediately crouch
okay,
down behind my mom.
so as you crouch down, you notice her legs are beginning to, like, let's say what was she she probably wears some jeans, right? So her jeans start to um, kind of flicker like they're not really there, kind of disappear and then appear like really quickly. And then
Step back.
once you step back and look at her, she turns around and her eyes are glistening blue again, and her from the bottom, from the boots or from her shoes upwards, her whole image slowly, gradually changes, and she's no longer your mom wearing jeans. She is somebody or something else wearing full head to toe body armor. And I this is what you see. I'm posting it now in Gilded. That's what the head looks like, and the head and the shoulders. And it's clearly not. First of all, it's not your mom, obviously, but it's also like it has the body of a man, so it's not even a woman pretending to be your mom. Um, and it doesn't speak, but it does raise its arm and point to you. And then as he does that,
You
behind you, the door
immediately throw
breaks
your
again.
phone at him.
Okay, you throw your phone, nothing happens. It just hits them and then falls to the floor. Um, and then as he points his hand at you, he begins moving towards you. What do you do?
Scream and scramble to your feet,
Okay.
looking at the door and him trying to assess if you should head towards the now open door or to the now very large, muscular guy standing in front of you.
Well, he's definitely coming towards you. You can't tell what his intent is, other than the fact he has his hand pointed towards you. But you can't tell because he has a helmet on. You can't really tell like what his facial expressions is. However, the other guy walks around the corner, and you can recognize most of his face as Forest Ranger Black, but his bottom, like his armor, his body armor, looks just like the person pretending to be your mom. And I'm gonna post what his head looks like. Um, and this guy, while the other one doesn't speak, this one does speak, and he says in a kind of mechanical voice, um, "You will be one of us." And both of them begin moving towards you, and the door is now halfway broken off its hinges, but you don't see anybody up there. So what do you do?
Um, you decide to make a break for the door.
Okay. So you run upstairs. When you get to kind of near where the door is half broken off its hinges, you can look out and see like just a mess. Like somebody has made a mess of this entire place. There's like entire walls have been broken down. Um, the pillars that were holding up the roof or the ceiling in the middle of the building have just been knocked over, and like part of the ceiling is caved in. Um, and yeah, you climb over the door or climb through the door, um, or under the door. I think it would be over. No, under. I don't know. You get past the door, and you run out into, where out there into the lobby, into the main part of the building. And
Okay, I'm trying to get to my mom's parked car.
okay, you run and you see as you're running through the lobby towards the front door to the car, and you don't see where it comes from. You only see it coming from above. Some sort of bright blue pulse of energy come down and slam into your mom's car, and it explodes.
You look around for anything and decide to make a break for the woods.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see anything immediately like in your vicinity that would help. You do hear the other two coming up the steps towards you, kind of um, pursuing you slowly. They don't seem to be in any rush to like, physically, run up and grab you or anything. They probably don't consider you much of a threat, but they are coming towards you, so you don't see anybody or hear anything. You don't know where Forest Ranger Johnson is, so the only thing that you can think of to do is you just run out and head into the woods. Um, you see, after like 5 minutes of running, not even not even that much time, you do see somebody or something lying on the ground. Um, you see two things actually. One of them looks like a blue deer, because basically the top part, where the head and the shoulders of the deer would be, is kind of concealed by a big oak tree, so you can't see that part of him. You can only see the back part of him. And the other seems to be another one of these beings completely covered in body armor, but they're both lying there, apparently injured. What do you do?
You crouch down to first observe what they're doing.
Okay. Um, you can definitely tell that the blue deer creature is injured. There's like blue blood, bluish purple blood everywhere. I'm gonna actually show you a picture of what these creatures look like. Uh, you can see a long, sharp tail that looks like it's been bitten and scratched off. Um, you can see once you come around the corner, or once you come around the tree and look at them, you can see it looks like a centaur. You can see four eyes, two of them on stalks, and like kind of weak arms by its side. But this creature is definitely dying, like he's breathing his last breaths as you see him. And the other creature looks like this. I will put another picture in. Where is it?
It's loading.
She is a female, clearly, and part of her face is visible, but she has the same kind of glistening blue eyes that you saw in your mom before she turned into what she turned into. But she also appears to be injured, um, and she appears to have a lot of burn marks all over her armor. But she also looks to be in kind of like a protective stance of the blue creature that you see. And when she sees you, um, she almost looks relieved, and she just touches her palm with her thumb, kind of like she's pushing a button, and a shape, a golden glowing shape, appears in her palm, in her hand, and she doesn't speak, but she holds it out to you. And then in your head, you hear. You're not sure if it's her or this blue creature, but you hear a voice in your head, and it says, "Hello, I apologize for how you found us. We are both dying. We must we must give you something before we die. Your planet is being invaded. The only way to fight is to accept this power." And then you can see as his voice weakens, the blue creature just completely collapses, and as far as you can tell, he's completely dead. And tears start to well up in her eyes as she like gestures. She's still not talking. You probably guess at this point some of them just can't talk, but she like gestures frantically for you to take hold of this shape.
I take it.
As you touch it, you feel a warm sensation kind of almost electric go through your body, and then it would be a very pleasant sensation if you weren't like running for your life at the moment. But she then does something also equally as strange. She takes your hand and presses it to her cheek, which is the only part of her that's exposed, and she kind of goes limp when she does that. And then she releases your arm and then collapses into unconsciousness. What do you do next?
Bet. Hello. Nice. I. Can you repeat? I'm asking them if they can repeat in a second. They're gone.
Okay. Yeah, basically she took your arm and made you touch her face with her hand, and then she kind of collapsed unconscious.
You look around, or I look around confused.
Okay. You look around, you can see back the way you came at that building, those two armored beings coming towards you. They seem to have found you. What do you do?
Alright. I decide to try to take some sticks and leaves and cover them.
Okay. You quickly grab some brush and branches and put them over them, and then what?
You start heading off to the forest to hopefully find some people.
Okay. As you get head back, I start running back away from the people that you've just tried to conceal from the others. You notice your hand is beginning to change, and it starts to develop the same armor that that woman had.
You kind of panic.
As you panic, it stops changing.
Okay, I stop panicking.
It goes back to normal.
I continue to look for any sign of people.
You don't see anything so far. The only thing that you do notice is the tree about 10 feet away from you explode as an energy blast shoots from one of the other uh, people that is hunting you, one of their arms, and blasts the tree in the smithereens.
Your steady pace turns into a run, and I run off.
Okay. As you run, eventually I mean, as you're running, you do notice. You okay?
Yeah.
Choking? Don't die.
Oh, just a little.
Just dying a little. Uh,
Just a tad.
you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. As you run, you do notice some animals here and there. Some squirrels trying to escape the chaos that's pursuing you. Some birds overhead squawking and chirping, and um, of course the trees that are getting shot at, and the ground that explodes next to you every few seconds as you're running. Um, but you know deep down that you're not, unless you do something, you're gonna run out of energy before they do. They seem to be mechanically um, improved, enhanced. They could probably keep up with you a lot, or they could probably chase you down well after you've gotten tired.
You decide to crouch down for a minute to figure out what to do.
Okay, so what is Layla thinking as she's hiding behind a tree, trying to trying to figure out what to do?
Panicking.
Panicking. Uh, I think Layla notices as she thinks back to the people that she buried under those branches. When she thinks about the woman, her hand begins to change again, and then when she stops thinking about the woman, she it goes back to normal.
She decides to completely think about the woman.
So strangely enough, this next time that you do that, your hand doesn't change. However, your eyes do. As they begin glowing blue, you can see heat, and you can see through trees. You can see a lot farther away than you could before, and then metal begins growing on your shoulders, and your hair changes color slightly, um, and some kind of metal um, piece grows around your mouth, and then you can feel it stapling into your jaw, keeping you from being able to speak. After a few moments of more metal just growing onto your body, and you can feel the slight shifting of your organs and slight change of your body as your body grows older, you realize you've changed completely into this woman that you had touched earlier.
I kind of just taken the new experience.
As you look down at your hands and in wonder and awe, you hear the voices of the other, or you hear the voice of Ranger Black, and he says, "This is Ban 167 Spiker 76 calling all Kelbrid operatives in the vicinity. We have located one of the teenagers, and we are closing in." And then you hear a chatter on his radio, whatever kind of radio that he's listening to, of multiple voices saying, um, "The students have escaped. We are in pursuit." And that is where we'll end. So next game